Welcome to Boston. Springtime, a lot of fun outside Alumni Stadium and inside as well. A family affair as we get set for the Bill O'Brien era to kick off at Boston College for today's annual Jay McGillis Memorial Maroon and Gold game. Hi again, everybody. Good afternoon from Boston alongside Mark Herzlich, former BC standout. I'm Mark Kestisher. Ashley Stroline will join us from the sidelines in just a moment. When we begin baseball season, I think of hope springs eternal. I think, Mark, we could use that as well for this BC football team, the way they finished last season with a bowl win and the fact that they're bringing back nearly 70% of their production from last year.
Yeah, it was a wild offseason for Boston College, right? Jeff Hafley, the former BC head coach, he left for the Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator job. And it left the BC faithful wondering who is going to be our next guy. Well, the answer to that question is none other than Bill O'Brien. Yes, that Bill O'Brien, who was the offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots for a long time, worked with Tom Brady, then was the head coach at Houston, and really known in the college ranks for what he did at Penn State and turning that program back around after the departure of Joe Paterno. And Bill O'Brien back to his New England roots. He's a Dorchester, Mass native. His wife went to Boston College, and being around the players and being around this organization over the past few weeks, it's been phenomenal to see the energy that he's brought and the excitement in this community.
And he's with us right now. We'll hear from him with Ashley. Take it away, Ash.
Well, Coach O'Brien, you are here. You are starting a new chapter of Boston College football. What was it about this job that made you say yes and want to come here and turn this program around?
Yeah, there was a lot. You know, these are great young men to work with. We've gotten off to a good start here. I'm from here. I love BC. My wife went to school here. We have a great campus. We're 15 minutes from downtown Boston. Just an unbelievable place, and we're getting off to a good start here. We've got a long way to go, but we're excited about the future of BC football.
Today marks your 15th and final spring practice. What are you looking to see from your guys during today's spring game, and how will you use it to evaluate?
Yeah, well, we want to come out of this thing healthy. You know, we want these guys to compete, give the fans something to look forward to in the fall, but we want to be healthy. We want to be smart today. These guys will practice hard. They'll do it the way we all want to do it, but in the end, we want to be a healthy football team when we come out of this.
And we know Boston is a city that loves its sports. You've been very vocal about how you want the city of Boston, the current students here, the alumni, to get behind this Eagles football program. So what is your message to them about why they should be doing that?
Yeah, no, this is a great town. This is a great sports town, and we play on Saturdays, and hopefully we can do a good job next year, and fans will want to come see us play. It's up to us to play well, but these guys have worked hard. They put a lot of time in. They've committed to our style of football. They're doing a great job off the field, in the classroom, and, you know, in the community. So, you know, we just want the support of the fans. We think that's really important. The students have been awesome, and we need the students out here to support us.
All right, Coach, thanks.
Thank you. Bill O'Brien, I'm the new head football
coach. Thank you very much. We'll hear from Bill O'Brien after the spring game as well to get his thoughts. But here's Coach earlier this week, meeting and greeting, pressing the flesh, getting folks into the stadium.
Yeah, well, he understands it, right? Hey, you got the megaphone out there, introducing himself, getting his quarterback out amongst the people. And, like, in this city of Boston, right, sports this year, how good are sports right now? I mean, you got the Celtics, you got the #1 in the East, you got the Bruins #1 in the Atlantic. We're not going to mention the Red Sox, but Boston College, I mean, BC and Boston, they're ready for Boston College football to be back, and the excitement around the program. You see Bill out there getting the crowd going, and now he's going to be in the stadium getting his players going. I'm excited to watch what's going on.
And I think there's a big hockey game later tonight as well.
Yeah, a little bit. Boston
BC
College
played
hockey
for a national championship. The Boston Marathon will be running right by Beacon, right off the Alumni Stadium. That's coming up on Monday. So a lot of things going on in Boston, including the Jay McGillis Memorial Maroon and Gold game, which is about to get underway. And this looks like we're going to look a lot like football here to start. Ones versus ones, twos versus twos.
Yep, don't pay attention to the colors of the jerseys because all the offensive guys are going to be wearing white. Defensive guys are going to be wearing maroon.
And we have a number of transfer students this year, including Jaden McGowan, who came from Vanderbilt, and he's awaiting this kick. And we are underway from Chestnut Hill from the 3-yard line. A look at McGowan's speed. He is a sprinter, and he gets out to the 25-yard line. And now we'll take a look at Thomas Castellanos, who wasn't even in the spring game last year, came over in the portal afterwards, and boy, was he terrific.
Oh, absolutely electric. And really a spark for this Boston College offense that really was sputtering early. And it didn't take long for Castellanos to make himself known. It was, you know, it was Moorhead's team to start last season, and really in the first game, the production wasn't there for Moorhead, and Castellanos hopped in and really lit up the scene with his legs. His arm strength was shown throughout the year, and I know that's something they've been working on this offseason. How can they get him and this offense rolling through the air, not just on the ground?
Little pistol for a look and a shot to the perimeter. Jerron Bradley that time couldn't catch it, covered by Max Tucker, and Bradley's a really big target who came in from Texas Tech.
Yeah, and how do you help Thomas Castellanos in the pass game, right? You bring in some skill players that can receive the football, and yeah, I think Jerron Bradley is the #1 guy really that they're looking at to be that big receiver on the outside. He's 6'5", 220 pounds. You mentioned transferring in from Texas Tech, but everyone has talked about his ability to go up and get the ball down the field.
And this is what BC's going to really look to do this year. Incomplete to McGowan is to work that ball downfield. More on that in a moment, Mark. Let's talk about the scoring and how this game works today. There's a lot of points out there. There's traditional points, Mark, but also converting first downs on offense, not allowing the other team to convert a first down on defense to get you points.
Yeah, don't be surprised if we don't call out every single point, because this is a little bit tricky. But the defense can score, the offense can score. This is going to be, the scoreboard is not going to be as important as kind of watching what we're going to see from these different offenses and defenses, as there is a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator in maroon and gold.
Let's see the legs of Tommy Castellanos, but that time walled in, so nice job by the defense. The other thing we'll see, too, is they're going to start the play from the 25-yard line, regardless of where those completions go, at least for the first part of this first half. We'll get to the 50 eventually. We got the ones versus the ones here to start, and then the two versus the twos. I think we're talking 12 to 15 plays before they swap it out.
Yep. And Coach O'Brien's going to be on the field he is the PA announcer with that microphone in his pocket. He's going to make some announcements. But right there, 3 and out, they're going to do this like a drive, right? So if there's 3 plays, 3 and out, the defense is going to go. They're going to get the ball back.
And that kick spun the wrong way on the punter, Sam Candiotti. But we will see some more action just underway from Chestnut Hill. Defense with 3 points early. First look at the 2024 Boston College Eagles football team. Nice crowd assembling inside Alumni Stadium, and you just saw another point tick for the defense. The ones are still out there. That's another third down stop for this defense, and I know that Bill O'Brien was talking about his defensive line was really playing well of late. Yeah,
you've seen Donovan Ezeraku get in there for a couple pressures on Castellanos so far today, and you'll notice that they're going to keep going when we take breaks. So yes. You did not miss anything or have a mental lapse. There was actually plays going on while you were busy grabbing snacks, but we are going to continue to update you.
And no snacks for us.
No snacks for us. There's Ezeraku, and phenomenal year 2 years ago in terms of getting the quarterback, 8.5 sacks a couple years ago. Not as many in the production column last year, mostly because he was being slid to and double teamed with tight ends and running backs, but he is a guy who can really disrupt off the edge. They're going to look for Ezeraku to play multiple positions, to walk around, stand up, and be effective. And Tim Lewis, the new defensive coordinator, has talked about Ezeraku and just his ability to get to the quarterback being a paramount this year, and playing off that and bring him in various positions so he doesn't just line up in the same spot every time.
Looks like we have a grounding call likely, or do we have a hold potentially? There is a fully officiated game. It is a hold against the offense. Tommy Castellanos and the ones are still out there for BC.
Offense number 71, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Ton of NFL experience.
Yep, Tim Lewis there. He was actually with the New York Giants as the defensive coordinator right before I got there, but he coached Matthias Kiwanuka there, and OCU Manura, Justin Tuck, and he's had a lot of success in the pro and college ranks. And talking with Bill O'Brien, Bill O'Brien hadn't met him, hadn't worked with him previously, but came highly recommended by so many people that O'Brien respected, that he was a huge get for this BC team.
First down and 20 after the penalty. Castellanos from the pocket over the middle. Another new name, Kamari Morala, is a tight end coming from North Carolina with the reception for 7.
Yeah, Kamari Morales, Boston College when you think about the teams at BC that have been good, right? They've always had a tight end who has made plays, whether back in the day Ryan Purvis or Hunter Long, and they brought in Kamari Morales to really shore up that receiver spot inside, and Morales joins Dron Bradley, Trayshawn Ward at running back, and then Grayson James at quarterback is some skill players that have been brought in this offseason to not only provide depth, but have some explosion on the offensive side.
Well, from the 6'2 Kamari Morales to the 5'8 Jaden McGowan with the reception there. Back-to-back pass completions for Thomas Castellanos. But they'll face another third down. The defense has been getting all the points here early on. So what are you looking for Castellanos taking that next step under a new coach and coordinator?
Well, I think you want to see the timing, right? You want to see his back foot plant on his drop and to be able to get the ball out quickly, because that shows us that he's been able to read the play, right? He's getting the defense in his brain. He's able to conceptualize what they're doing and have the full concept of his own package as well. That one delivered on target, and you see Dron Bradley kind of tap himself in the chest. Just a drop pass, but again, you saw Castellanos getting his drop, hit that back foot plant. Look, you go first, second, third read, and you saw his shoulders twitch a little bit. You'd love to see it get out just a little bit sooner. But good job by the defense again. It's been 3 and outs.
5 points
for this defense, and
now we'll get the twos out in the field. So we'll get a look at another transfer quarterback, Grayson James, who came over from Florida International and appears to be at least going into the fall mark as the backup quarterback for Castellanos. And off to Jordan McDonald. We're seeing a lot of the guys out of the portal and to Boston College. A 1 yard for Jordan McDonald, who came from UCF, was a Castellanos teammate a couple of years ago at Central Florida.
Yeah, he was. And these guys, both of them, you want to look at these new quarterbacks, these new players. How do they fit? What do they feel like? And Grayson James, he is a dual threat quarterback. He has some ability with his legs. He's not the same as the Thomas Castellanos, where it's all the speed. But he has a really good arm. Coaches have liked what he's been able to do in terms of picking up the game plan. So he's going to be, as of right now at least, a solid backup for Castellanos in case anything does happen.
Hey, we're going to get a point for the offense. 20 yards on the short pass completion to Jordan McDonald, showing some speed.
Yeah, and Jordan McDonald, he's transferring from UCF. UCF used him in the pass game as well as the running game, and he's a bigger back, 6'1", 220. Kind of looks like a Kai Robichaux, who we're not going to see today. He's sitting out for this game, but they kind of have this thunder and lightning type backfield, with McDonald and Robichaux being thunder and Trayshawn Ward being lightning.
James, good protection in front of him, passing for 5 yards. And we see now they're allowing the team to move up along. They're up to midfield.
And this is what we're talking about. Not a designed QB run, but you see the defensive end get trapped inside, and there's Grayson James using his legs to pick up some yardage.
Grayson James, who was honorable mention All-Conference USA a couple of years ago, second quarterback in. And a pass over the middle, complete to Matt Reagan. Or was that Luke McLaughlin? Luke McLaughlin into the game from Hudson, Ohio, redshirt junior. There are 94 players on the roster. Don't know how many we'll see today, if not most of them. An opportunity. This is, as Ashley pointed out at the top of the show, the 15th and final spring practice. And you see Matt Reagan, number 87 in white, lining up on the left side of the line. He's been getting a lot more time of late in practices. James shows a lot of poise in the pocket as he finds Reagan that time for 5 yards.
He does a good job of scanning the field, and good tackle here, good break and drive on the football.
My apologies, that was McLaughlin with the reception that time.
It's Joe Marinero, linebacker, redshirt senior.
You mentioned, Mark, 2 new coordinators. James taking a deep shot, and it's broken up downfield. Reed Harris, the intended receiver.
Yeah, one of the things that Will Lawning, the offensive coordinator, and Bill O'Brien want to do this year is they want to stretch the field vertically. And, you see it shot downfield right here, and they want to start spreading out the defense by threatening those deep balls. And that's really what Jerron Bradley, kind of the big wide receiver, and that was Reed Harris right there, another 6'3", 200-pound receiver, trying to get some of these big guys' balls down the sideline.
Ryan Turner with the breakup, another transfer from Ohio State. 3rd down and 5. Here comes the rush, and they'll blow the whistle. Nice job by Quintavious Hutchins that time to get out after the quarterback. Well, we heard Coach O'Brien at the start talk about we want everyone to stay healthy, so they'll blow that whistle early. And this will be 4th down, so defense gets some points. And we're going to get a 50-yard field goal attempt here early. There's been some wind swirling today, but we've had the sunshine out as we came on the air right at noon, and Liam Connor will get his first attempt of this spring game. And it is winding left and no good. So no points for the offense. We're going to hear from Thomas Castellanos, the starting quarterback of the BC Eagles, coming up right after this timeout. Welcome back to Boston College. A defense ruling here early in this spring game, and 3 more games highlighting our spring football schedule on ACC Network and ACC Network Extra today. Continuing with Pittsburgh at 2 Eastern, Virginia Tech 3 Eastern. ACC Network Extra is ACC Network's complimentary streaming platform, which is accessible through the ESPN app on your smartphone, tablet, connected streaming device like your TV, or by going to ESPN.com/watch. Full day of spring college football, and I guess it would be apropos, Mark, to talk defense, because both these defenses, the 1s and the 2s, have been good. What has impressed you about what we might see as the starting defense for Boston College come the fall?
Yeah, I think, one thing that happens, right, a lot of times in spring football is that one side of the ball or the other gets a little bit of a head start. A lot of times it's defense because, at the end of the day, you just got to stop the offense whenever you have new offensive coordinators. But I think today what we've seen so far is the defensive line has been active. And when we talked with Coach O'Brien and Tim Lewis, they both talked about the defensive line probably has improved more than any other position group over this spring. And you bring back Ezra Raku, you got Neto Akpala, you got Quan Williams, Cam Horsley. We saw Quintavious Hutchinson get a sack. And all these guys have built their reputation at BC over the past few years, and now they're all coming into the kind of their elevated seniority status. And the hope is that these guys play up to that level throughout this year.
More defensive talk in a moment, but right now, Ashley Stroline standing by with the starting quarterback, Thomas Castellanos.
Hey, guys, that's right. Tommy Touchdowns, as I've heard your new nickname is standing by with me. But, Thomas, the last time we had a chance to speak was week 1 of last season. That was really your coming out party as the Eagles quarterback. You got your opportunity. You never looked back. So what has life been like since week 1 of last year as far as stepping into that QB1 role and also as a leader of this team?
It's been amazing. We got a great family here. Of course, you guys know we face some adversity here soon. We got Bill O.B. now. We all adapting. I feel like it's going to be a great season.
You made the decision to remain here at Boston College despite Coach Hafley leaving. You made that statement as soon as he said he was gone. You said, no, I'm staying. I'm going to remain here as an Eagle. So what has life been like as far as the new era of Boston College football and working with Coach O'Brien and his staff?
It's been amazing. New guys are polishing me and getting me ready for the next level. He's coached some of the best quarterbacks that can play the game. He's really smart. The offensive staff that we have is really smart. And just having him has been amazing. We got a lot of change going around here. We're meeting a lot of people, a lot of old alums and old players are coming back. So it's different. It definitely feels different.
As a quarterback, when you look at some of the QBs he's had a chance to work with, both in the college level and the pro level, how does that inspire you and also build your confidence for what you can do under him, playing with him and learning from him?
A lot. I know how athletic I am and what I can do. He's just been polishing me up and, just getting me ready for the next level. So him coaching those guys and, me knowing that what really made me stay and, really wanted me to get coached by him. So right now, and then ever since he's got here, it's been so good, and he's just been coaching me up and polishing me and just getting me ready.
You have a new offensive coordinator in Will Lawing. So how has this offense been looking this spring, and what are some of the changes and new schemes maybe we're going to see come fall?
It'll be a lot of Tommy touchdowns in the pocket, throwing the ball, just getting the ball to my guys, and we got a lot of good weapons around me. They did a good job of bringing guys in, to surround me with a lot of good players. So just get those guys the ball, and then, of course, if, I can't get them the ball, I can use my legs to do something special.
Okay, Tommy Touchdown's the nickname. How do you feel about that?
I like it. Tommy Touchdown, we score touchdowns.
There we go. All right, guys, back to you.
I love it. I want to see that in print and on broadcast more this year. You had his first game and his last game, Mark. You could just sense the confidence, too, coming into a full year with a camp and a spring game.
Yeah, and also, too, remember, this was not his team, really, beginning of last year. The offense was built around a very different type of quarterback, kind of a pocket passer. Castellanos came in. You just see what he did with production and kind of the other quarterbacks
That's
who
good
have been in
company.
the ACC who have done that. I mean, they are all phenomenal guys. And Deshaun Watson's a guy that Coach O'Brien has coached before. And so talking to Bill O'Brien and say, okay, you have Thomas Castellanos. Like, how does that fit into different guys that you have coached before? And he talked about Bryce Young at Alabama when he won the Heisman, and kind of how the scheme that he implemented for him is very similar to what they can do with Castellanos here with that mobility and his arm strength going downfield.
28 total touchdowns a year ago, and the Bryce Young comparison, Tom, I don't think he's going to beat Bryce Young. I don't think he's going to, he may not win a Heisman Trophy, but I think, as you point out, the change in Bill O'Brien, too, from the coach he was at Penn State to the coach he was in the NFL with Houston, even he says he's in a different phase of coaching after spending time with Nick Saban.
Yeah, and he talked about the evolution of football, and especially on the offensive side, you need to evolve as football evolves, and he's done that, and he's ready to bring that library of knowledge to this BC football team.
All right, so the ones and the twos both got their shot here. The defense has a 14-2 lead. Little break on the field. We'll take one, too, here from Chestnut Hill. Good question. Don't know.
Welcome back to Alumni Stadium, where before the spring game, they had a youth clinic out here. There's my son,
Who's
Boston
that guy?
King Hertzlick. You see the form tackle there? We work on that in our living room frequently. The little dive in the celebration is ad-libbed. But we hope to see some celebration from the Eagles as well. And it was a fun time out here before, and you get a lot of the coaches out here, some of the players that aren't dressing for today, helping coach up the kids. And I think my favorite part about it was a bunch of guys who I played with, former teammates. They're back here with their kids doing the clinics, and Coach O'Brien talked to all the kids afterwards. Just a really special time to have that on this amazing field. And
well, that's a great moment for your son. He's never going to forget that. And as you said, we saw the clinics going on beforehand as Thomas Castellanos is back in, and a near interception that time. Yeah, Max Tucker?
Yeah, that's Max Tucker. And we talked a little bit about the defensive line. The defensive backfield, Max Tucker is one of those guys who's done a really good job and impressed these coaches, really good break on the football. But with Elijah Jones leaving this team, he had 5 interceptions last year, first team All-ACC at that cornerback. They're looking for someone else to play on the other side of Amari Jackson. Max Tucker has had a really good spring and trying to make a name for himself. Good play on the ball there.
Castellanos sprinting out to the right. Going to use those legs and angle himself out at about the 42-yard line. An 8-yard run for Castellanos, as we showed earlier, ran for 1,113 yards, the most at Boston College since A.J. Dillon.
Who, by the way, was a running back.
Yes. That should highlight it, right?
Yes.
Not just a quarterback, any position.
Any position, yep. A.J. Dillon is obviously making him a name for himself in the pros, the Packers, and it's always nice to have him on your fantasy team because they always put him in to score touchdowns.
That's right. See what Castellanos does here. He's going to hand it off to Trayshawn Ward. You know, we talked about over 1,100 yards, but that's only like from the line of scrimmage forward. Maybe the play of the year came from the end of the fourth quarter of opening day. Take a look at this last September. Where's he going?
Yeah, this was the first time we got to see number 1 on the field for Boston College. Transferred in from UCF, and coaches told him really that, hey, I don't know if you can play quarterback. That's kind of his attitude was at UCF. He came here. They saw, hey, man, he's got a way better arm than we had thought originally. He got that opportunity in game 1. He did that, and I was like, man, I don't think you can go backwards. You got to stick with him, and he has showed that electricity every time he's been on the field.
They ended up losing that game and had a tough start at 1-3 before ripping off 6 consecutive wins. Kind of an up and down season, but finished off with a win in the Fenway Bowl against SMU, which was ranked in the top 25 at the time. And so that's the momentum we're talking about here with Bill O'Brien, as you see a new head coach taking over and embracing. Because remember, these 10, 11 transfers, those aren't under his regime, but he says they're all family now. And the ones are coming back up. You hear from Bill O'Brien. So we're getting a look at everybody today. And the defense has played particularly well here in this first half. We have no running time. Jaden McGowan will await this punt, end over end. And that one checks up nicely. I think Sam Candiotti will take that on opening day at Florida State in September. And a reminder, tonight's featured ACC baseball matchup will have NC State squaring off against number 2 Clemson in the second game of their 3-game series right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. All the action comes your way live starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So the drive starts now are from the 50-yard line.
We've done a lot of talk on the offensive side of the ball too, but let's take, focus a little on different position groups, and
I like it.
The linebackers specifically, and Vinny DePalma is a staple that was here for 7 years. He's gone now. Cam Arnold, who's a starting Mike linebacker, he is a grad student this year, and next to him, Riz Holla, number 7. Between them and Bam Crouch, that's really going to be the 3 linebackers that we're expecting to see. And Cam Arnold, number 5, he's been a leader on this defense. He's very well built, physical specimen, gets downhill very well, and really, as he's making a tackle right there, he's done a really good job of keeping this team together. Anytime you have a new defensive coordinator, you got to have a player that really steps up and buys in, and he's been that guy for this team and for Tim Lewis especially. Riz Holla, number 7, he's going to be a quicker guy, 6'1", 217. He's going to fly around the ball, get all over the place. And then Bam Crouch, Davion Crouch, is another guy who didn't get a ton of playing time last year. He's played sparingly in about 10 games, mostly on special teams, but looking forward to him bringing a spark too, especially in the pass rush game.
Well, that front 7 has played well here early, and unfortunately for Thomas Castellanos, the passes that have been on time have been tough catches, some non-catches. Jerron Bradley gets 2 on that one. And that will bring up a 4th down here. Take a look at Castellanos to Bradley, and he's just so hard defensively to keep an eye on because of all the moves and the way he's able to extend and move that pocket.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing for Castellanos, and something that he had a little bit of issue with last year, something that he has to get used to, is being able to see over that massive offensive line. Right, he's 5'10", doesn't have that height of maybe a pocket passing quarterback, but they do want him to sit in the pocket and find those passing lanes. So it's going to be important for the offensive linemen to get movement on these pass rushes so we can find those open lanes.
And Mark, BC was so good on 4th down last year. It was a really nice game from Datrell Jones, a name who really wasn't on the depth chart coming into spring practice, but has clearly moved his way into the room, the running back room, with also some help of some injuries. Kai Robichaux is expected to be the lead back, not playing today with an injury. Alex Broom also was injured today, so that's an opportunity for a guy like Datrell Jones, who gets another call here, getting to the 30-yard line. And Owen McGowan, one of those linebackers you were talking about, getting the stop there. Yeah,
Datrell Jones, the teammates call him Day-Day. Day-Day Jones, you're going to hear his name called this year, and he's a Catholic Memorial kid, about 5'9", 180 pounds. He's a little bit of a slasher. He's got some speed, too, good hands. And you're right. Anytime you can have a stable of backs in the backfield, very rarely are any teams having just a lead back anymore, even in the NFL. And Day-Day Jones is going to be a good complement, especially receiving out of the backfield.
The 3 rushes for 17 yards. Slant, Bradley, complete out across the 25-yard line. I keep stealing you away from defense and swinging you over to offense, but I think the change in defensive structure this year, the way they're going to set it up under Tim Lewis, also is a point to mention.
Yeah, they were multiple defense last year, and I think the fronts are going to look, similar, right? You're going to get some 4-down fronts, you're going to get some 3-down fronts, but I think you're going to see a lot more zone and zone pressures from this Tim Lewis defense, kind of more of that NFL type defense where Jeff Hafley was very big on man-to-man. A lot of his coverages, especially first and second down, were man coverages. You'll see a little bit of a difference this year.
No gain that time, and Owen Stoudemire, Davion Crouch that time. Got the stop. It'll be 4th down and inches.
Owen Stoudemire, defensive tackle number 93. He's been a guy that, in coming to a couple of these spring practices and watching him, he is explosive off the line of scrimmage. He got a little quick twitch to him. I was watching practice the other day with Tim Bowman, who was a legendary defensive lineman here, and he goes, who's that number 93? He's got some movement to him. And when you have depth at the bigs, especially in the middle, think back to even my days playing B.J. Raji and Ron Brace, some of these guys who really made a difference, kind of were unsung heroes of those years. Owen Stoudemire could be one of those guys. Good run by Trayshawn Ward.
And those are points there for the offense. That's a three-pointer, right? Converting on a 4th down.
There you go.
Trayshawn Ward for 3. I also like they had 2 tight ends on the edge of that line. You're going to see a lot of that type of setup, and they've run away from the power side of the line. They've run to the right 3 times in a row this time. So working all the different line combinations and using the bigger body tight ends this year.
Yeah, they want to mix in, 11 personnel with 1 tight end, 12 personnel with 2 tight ends, and Coach O'Brien said they're going to get to 13 personnel at times. And anytime you can do that and kind of mix up the personnel, it makes it more difficult on the defense, especially where defenses nowadays in the ACC are so much nickel, where you have 2 linebackers and kind of that safety nickel back playing in the slot provides mismatches.
Waiting on our first touchdown of the spring game. Castellanos, and going up to get it, but incomplete was Day-Day Jones, broken up by Davion Crouch.
Yeah, there's a good matchup too. You saw Davion Crouch, Bam Crouch, that linebacker out of Tampa, Florida. Good job covering the back of the backfield. We talked about Day-Day and his threat as the wide receiver. Just a really good play on the ball by a linebacker. Anytime you have a wheel route by a running back, it's very difficult to have your eyes back to the quarterback. It was a good job with that breakup.
Got just enough of a rake on the ball when he landed. Jones couldn't hang on to it. Here we go. Castellanos over the middle. Morales, the tight end, has it. Spinning, can't get to the markers, so it'll be 4th down at the 6-yard line. Came up about a yard or 2 short of a first. 7-yard gain.
Here you go. You kick a field goal, get 3 points. You convert 4th down and get 3 points. Looks like they're going to stay out there.
Second 4th down, or would be the second 4th down conversion.
This is where you got to look for Jerome Bradley, right? He's in the slot, motioning in. This could be a time where you throw it up to him in the corner of the end zone.
Here we go on 4th down. Castellanos throws, broken up in the end zone, tried to get it to Jaden Skeet that time, and Jalen Williams came up with the breakup.
Right here.
add some more points to the defensive ledger as Thomas Castellanos denied at the goal line off the helmet of Jalen Williams, the defender.
The yard line going this way, same way, same direction.
Welcome back to Boston College. We've been talking defense a lot here in this first half, and the face of the defense coming up in a moment. This was while you were away. Reed Harris got credited with a 40-yard touchdown reception. His foot may have been out of bounds at the 2, but the head coach allowed the extra point to be kicked, and that's why we have some offensive points on the board. But we talked about Donovan Ezaraku, and he's down on the field. There's Ashley Stroline. Take it away.
Hey, guys. Well, Donovan Ezaraku joining me now. Donovan, we were just talking in the break. It's your senior year, your final season here with Boston College. What are you most looking forward to as you enter this final year here with the Eagles?
I would say I'm looking forward to just a new start. Fresh start in a way, new coaching staff, new pretty much everything. So I'm looking forward to seeing the guys and how we adapt to that and how we attack this season coming up.
Part of that new coaching staff is a new defensive coordinator in Tim Lewis. He brings with him over 3 decades of experience. What are you learning from him so far during these spring practices?
Just definitely giving me knowledge on like all the legends and Hall of Fame guys that he coached at the next level. Knowing that he was a coach for the Steelers during that era with Coach Tomlin. Listening to how he taught those guys and how they work that scheme and kind of adding that to my game as well. It's definitely great to hear, great to see, great to take knowledge from.
Coach O'Brien told us yesterday that he really wants this defense to be aggressive. He used the phrase, drop the shield and attack. So how are you noticing the defense embracing that mentality of being aggressive and just going out there?
Really just playing a lot more free, not as much thinking, just going out there, playing fast, going and competing as well. It's the biggest thing that we've been getting used to this spring ball, just getting the install, going out to practice and just going.
I've heard a lot about Craig Fitzgerald, your new strength and conditioning coach, and maybe some of the things he's been implementing. I've heard some other players talk about these sprints maybe at the end of practice. So how has his program been, and how is it helping you guys?
I would say it's a lot faster, and that corresponds directly to how we want to play as a defense. So everything is fast, get in and get out, go get your pump. The running after practice, that's what we need. That's what we're going to need at, September 2nd in Tallahassee. So that's just a little extra conditioning, doesn't hurt anybody.
Absolutely. And for you, your senior season, what are some goals you have, some boxes you want to check this year?
Really, I just want to be for the team. Go be a leader for the guys. Be able, to depend on everybody else, and so I can do my job as well at the highest level. And that kind of building that'll be important for us as a team because, if that guy on the other side knows what he's doing, I know what I'm doing, we can just go have fun and go make some plays together.
Before I let you go, getting a chance to go against each other today, getting a chance to go against the offense, what are you seeing when you're out there on the field?
They do a lot of different things. We've seen it a lot more during actual spring practice, not really the spring game. But it's competition all around, all day long, all practice long competition. So it's good.
Competition is a good thing, Donovan. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Donovan Ezaraku, incredibly smart and certainly one of the 5 leaders on this team coming up this year.
Oh, yeah. And you see some of the returning leaders coming back. You're not going to see Robichaux or Lewis Bond today, but you see Castellanos. We already talked about Cam Arnold. And Ezaraku, he's captain last year. He's a guy that players feed off of his intensity, right? You could just kind of tell his focus in that interview, and that's how he conducts his life, right? He's focused, his eyes are on the prize, and you heard him talk about September 2nd, right? Everybody's working to that first Florida State game where they can show the new look Boston College offense and defense and kind of what they're going to be all about.
Less than 5 months away. That's going to be a standalone Labor Day, Monday night ABC game. So big spotlight to start the Bill O'Brien era at Florida State. And in fact, let's take a look at the upcoming schedule. So that's September 2nd at Florida State to begin the year. If you're noting in the new ACC, there is no trip to California this year. That's next year at Stanford. The SMU game is November 16th. But pretty good schedule for BC.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to be playing Michigan State. First time they played Michigan State since I was playing back in 2007. We played them in the Champs Sports Bowl, so good to have some of that Big Ten competition. And
is that the Matt Ryan, Brian Hoyer game?
It was. Matt Ryan, Brian Hoyer, and Matt Ryan got the best of it.
2 guys who have been here at practice, and another pass nearly completed to Reed Harris, a 360 try. We've seen a lot of Reed Harris with the number 2, a lot of acrobatic attempts down there.
I got to say, Grayson James, it looks like number 10, Reed Harris, is his favorite target. Another one going that way. You see some of the second-team wide receivers making some catches, and Reed Harris is one of them. Ishmael Zamore, number 82, he had a catch earlier in that drive.
Well, if you heard that voice, field goal, you can see it right here. Bill O'Brien's got the mic. He's got the hot mic to the crowd, and he's talking to his players, his coaches, and to the crowd as well. This is a 50-yard field goal attempt. This will be Luca Lombardo, who, by the way, I was at practice Thursday. He hit from 52 yards right at the end. He's the third-string kicker. That one's got the distance, and it is good. How about Luca Lombardo knocking it home from 50?
Well, that's a good way to not become third string. Making some 50-plus yard field goals.
Hey, there were guys who were like fourth string in the spring last year who got some good reps. Luca Lombardo from 50 as we take a timeout here in BC. Well, we went to break tied at 22 on that 50-yard field goal. Defense just picked up 2 more points to take the lead. And another special guest is on the field with Ashley Stroline. Ashley.
Out now with Will Blackman, alumni. You're back. You decided to join this coaching staff as a senior defensive analyst. What went into that decision for you?
It was crazy because I was trying to go to NFL. I wanted nothing to do with college, like the whole recruiting, like the NIL. I no parts. I got to follow the kid on social media. Like, it's crazy. But when Coach O'Brien reached out, which was cool, like I knew him from playing against him, but I didn't really know him personally. And he asked me like, would I want to come back and be a part? And I thought about it, and I was part of the guys that were like, we didn't feel connected here, what have you. And I was like, you know what, this is an opportunity for me to actually come and impact it directly. And so I said, yeah. So I came here, and it's cool. So seeing defensive analysts, I'm like a consultant on the defensive side. And then I'm doing alumni relations, already got Matt back here, Gosler back here, John Johnson, Ike. Like, I'm getting everybody here. And I am recruiting. It's weird. I got like multiple phones. I feel so weird.
But you bring with you so much experience, right? You're in the BC Hall of Fame. You're a Super Bowl champ, 12-year NFL vet. So how do you hope that experience will help with that recruiting or help with the guys that are already here? Yeah,
well, I would say like at BC, I honestly had some of the best 4 years of my entire life. And I happened to check all the boxes. I ended up, able to get my degree, which is super beneficial, and then end up playing 12 years in the NFL. So just letting guys know, the current players, most importantly, like the value of coming here and being at BC. It's really, really cool. So that's what I try to bring. I'm a poster child for like Boston. I'm a local kid from Providence and came here and happen to have a really cool career.
And for the players that are here right now, what's your message to them about this season? A new coaching staff, a new regime, a new era. So what's your message to them, and how can they find success this year?
Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like embrace it. And already Coach O'Brien, he's met with every player, every coach. He handpicked the staff. Like, he didn't bring like all his friends. He literally interviewed, and the defensive staff, we had to get to know each other for the first couple of weeks. And so he really hand-selected to have the best staff possible. And he's super genuine in trying to build BC and be here. Like, this is Boston College. It's not a stepping stone for him, which is cool. Like, he already did the NFL. He was at Alabama, Penn State. He's from here, so he's trying to be here as long as possible. And I think that's really cool. You see a lot of coaches leaving. They want to try to upgrade, but this is an upgrade for him. When he said in his press conference, it's a dream job, I know people kind of raise an eyebrow like, well, of course he would say that. But it really is for him. He has a lot of ties just to the New England area, so it's really, really cool. The energy is good. It's awesome.
You can tell that he has the passion. We felt it yesterday in our meetings with him as well. I appreciate your time. I know you and Herzlich have a bond. You've got a Super Bowl championship together, so I'm going to let you send it back to him.
Yo, Mark, hold it down with that beautiful mohawk of yours. Love you and your kids. Back to the game.
Oh, Will, we had some fun times. Yeah, Will was at the Giants with me as well, and we did not overlap when we were here at BC, but it's funny. I remember watching him when I was being a recruit, and I was coming and watching them play, and he was absolutely electric on the field, and you can see some of my old mug shots.
Oh, look at that upper left. How do you get the eye black like that?
Well, that actually... we watched, I'll tell you the story about the eye black. So we watched It was before we played Clemson in 2008. We watched The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight, the Batman movie, had just come out, and I was like, you know what? I want to do my eye black, kind of like the Joker. And so there, I did it around my eyes, and then turned into the whole mask, and it became kind of my signature here at Boston College. And the Mohawk evolved, and it just everything, it was just, it became a little persona. And
well, I came out of the elevator on the was it the 5th floor here where we're broadcasting from, and nice flowing salad, nice picture.
Oh yeah, the curls. I had the curls flowing, and thank goodness that I passed those on to my son Boston. He's got some good nice curls because I can't grow them anymore.
Right there with you. I loved what Will had to say too about Coach O'Brien. His wife is a Boston College grad, and you pointed out at the top of the show, Coach O'Brien is from the area, right? Dorchester, Andover, and so he has embraced everything about this culture at BC. And like Will said, he's right. He didn't just bring his friends. He was very, poised in who he was going to bring and put together. Some guys he knew, some guys he didn't know, and he feels he's got a really tight staff.
Yeah, for instance, like Will Lawning, the offensive coordinator, he's been with him for a long time. Maryland at Penn State, and brought him back here now as offensive coordinator. We mentioned Tim Lewis. Kind of did not have a relationship with Tim Lewis beforehand, but came very high recommended. And
get some water.
And Craig Fitzgerald, probably the most important guy, the strength and conditioning coach. That's his guy. He brought him here first, and he has a lot of hats and roles on this team.
Well, Liam Connor just booted a 36-yard field goal, and Bill O'Brien said, "We're at halftime. Get some water." You do the same at home. 1-point game. We're at the half.
All right, welcome back to Boston College's spring game. Ashley Stroline here, standing by with the recipient of this year's Jay McGillis Scholarship. Bugg Jones, congratulations. At a tremendous honor to be named this year's recipient. What does it mean to you, and what did you think when you found out?
I think it's just a great honor just to be honored in this way. There was a lot of guys ahead of me that received this award. Like coming in, I seen like Mike Palmer and Jaden Woodby rare previous years before me. And just to know to the people I'm around that I represent what a BC man is, I think that's a huge honor. I actually just found out this morning, so I was a little in shock, but it's a huge honor.
And to know for your final home game of the season, you'll put on the 31 jersey to honor Jay. What do you think those emotions will be, and how will you feel taking the field knowing that you're carrying on his legacy?
I think that's a great way to go out. I kind of feel like you can relate it almost to Wells Crowther a little bit. That's an amazing way to go out. We were for Wells for our red bandana game, so having one person wear that 31 on the field for our last home game, I think that's an amazing way to end the season.
And just a new era for Boston College, and for you guys here today with the spring game. What are you excited about this year, and how do you feel like today is going?
I'm just excited for the change and just to see how we can get things rolling with this new staff. Today I'm very shocked and happy with the turnout. Coach O'Brien really pushed this one right here, and I'm really proud of what the BC community came out of there for us today.
All right, Bugg, we appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of practice, and when we come back, a lot more here from Chestnut Hill with the fans, family, everybody out here supporting this Eagles football program.
So much.
Defense, a 1-point edge over the offense. We are at halftime here at Boston College, and Sunday night right here on ACC Network, we have a softball doubleheader. Number 18 Florida State hosting Notre Dame in the last game of a 3-game series. 4 Eastern, 3 Central. Then number 19 Clemson takes on number 3 Duke in the finale of their 3-game series at 6 Eastern. All right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Back in the booth with Mark Herzlich. I'm Mark Kestisher. The former BC great, getting a chance to see his team play here in the spring game. We saw Bugg Jones get the Jay McGillis honor and the award, and he'll get to wear that number 31 later in the year. The Jay Fund, obviously, you spoke about it with Tom Coughlin, who was the head coach at the time, and you were with him as well with the New York Giants. You're also on the board of the Jay Fund. What can you tell us more about what's going on?
Well, the Jay Fund is it's fantastic. It's a bunch of people that have decided, hey, we want to give back and help families that are going through pediatric cancer, right? And obviously I had my own bout with cancer while I was at Boston College. And when I went to the New York Giants as a rookie with Coach Coughlin after my rookie year, he said, hey, would you like to join our advisory board and like to be a part of this? And these are some shots from the Champions for Children Gala. There's Chris Snee, son-in-law of Tom Coughlin. There's me. They brought me in for some golf down at TPC Sawgrass, and I did not hit the 17th green. Coach did, but just another quick overview of what the J Fund has done to help support families in the tri-state area and also down in Jacksonville. It's been phenomenal to be a part of it, and they have helped so many different kids battling through some of the hardest things that anyone will ever face.
Can't even imagine, and just a terrific job as no one's been turned away, no families turned away, as you pointed out, over the last 3 years. So we had a little halftime break here. The sun has been shining all afternoon. That's been brilliant as well. There's big storms rolled through the Northeast last few days, and there was word it was going to be windy and it was going to be cloudy, but that has parted for Bill O'Brien's spring debut.
Yep, and you know what? I think right now, right, like I've been trying to be pretty impartial, but like I want to see some offense. I mean,
the linebacker says that.
Like
there you go.
I love, good QB scramble, but that's a broken play. I mean, I think part of it is like we want to see what they can do, and they haven't done a lot of things downfield. They haven't completed many passes yet. I mean, obviously we know it's the spring game, but.
And the touchdown pass might have been out of bounds.
Yeah, but that was a good completion. But
it was.
I would love to see in this second half, let's have some completions. Let's have some on-time throws. Let's have some rhythm downs. Let's mix in the run pass and give it a little taste of what we're going to see during the year. We can't see 3 and outs every time. Here's an opportunity to pick up a third down here.
Castellanos and the ones on the field. Throws it to Day Jones. Breaks a tackle. Almost broke another tackle. Crouch knocked him down there. Nice play from Castellanos to Jones for 16 yards.
Well, there you go. Now you ask for some offensive production, and we get some offensive production. And Jones just leaked out of the backfield a little crossing route into zone coverage, and terrible tackling right there. But it was a good job making guys miss.
So what we're going to see here in the second half, Mark, is more situational football, because now they're lining up a 3rd and 4 play, even though they had a 16-yard conversion.
Yeah, and that's good, right? It's similar to what you're going to see in normal practice. You got situational plays, 3rd down, got to have it. Little miscommunication there between Bradley and Castellanos.
Well, in case you're wondering how we have 53 total points, here's the scoring system. There will be a test coming up before we get off the air. Traditional scoring, touchdowns, field goals, but the first down conversions and the defense really took advantage of stopping on 3rd downs, 4th downs. We had a number of sacks in the first half as well, which contributed to the defensive scoring.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a defensive-dominated first half of football.
So now we're getting situational, and they're moving quicker. So the twos are in. Grayson James, I thought he had a pretty good run in his 2 or 3 times that he was on the field in the first half. Off the back foot, a nice completion out on the far side. That's Luke McLaughlin.
3rd and 8. Yeah, good pass rush by Josiah Griffin. Number 9 was coming off the right edge, and I don't know whether this would have been counted right there. Probably would have laid out. But good completion on the run.
Grayson James was 5 for his first 6 in the first half. Pointed out, big, athletic, 6'3" from FIU, Florida International. So this will be a third. I thought I heard 3rd and 8. 3rd and 8 is the situational play. Another open receiver, and that's Ismail Zamor that time coming up with the reception.
Yeah, the friends call him Ish. Ish on a good dig route, and he's a player that got a lot of special teams action last year and making his way into the lineup. He has had a couple good catches and good routes today.
BC was a pretty good 3rd down team last year. They converted at about 41-42% last year. And you ask for offense, and they're delivering in these 3rd down situations.
It's funny. It's sometimes like you get in the 2-minute drill and you just start hurrying up a little bit, and the quarterbacks start being like, you know what, we're just going to get and play football, and that's what we're seeing here from Grayson James. Another good delivery.
And it is complete to Reed Harris, who had the only touchdown reception of the afternoon. And he says first down.
3rd and 4.
That goes for 21 yards.
I'll tell you what, Reed Harris has had a great day so far. And, you know, we talked about Grayson James finding some comfort in number 10. The short-handed catch by Harris.
3 catches, 71 yards for Reed Harris, a redshirt freshman from Great Falls, Montana. Thomas Castellanos didn't play in the spring game last year, but once the real games got underway, he and Lewis Bond really clicked. We're not seeing Lewis today because of injury, but Grayson James likes number 10, and he finds him again over the middle. About the 4th option on that play, another 3rd down conversion on the 3rd and 4.
Yeah, and you see the big body of Reed Harris. It's just difficult to bring him down. And anytime you can develop a wide receiver that, you know, can come in, and we know in college football depth is so important, especially at the skill positions. Reed Harris says, give me the ball, let me keep eating.
Well, Brian now will bring in Matthew Reevy. He's got 3 teams out there, but he's got 4 quarterbacks that he's looking at. So Reevy, 5th-year senior from Cincinnati, on the field right now.
Yep, nephew of Matt and Tim Hasselbeck.
And a lot of connections to Boston College, and was in the much improved category. Flag out. We haven't seen that much here today, so they'll blow the play dead.
Sack. Here go 3rd and 8.
Oh, they're counting it as a sack. Bill O'Brien's quick. He is judge, jury, and point giver. Here's a look at. Is that Matt down there?
I don't know. It's tough to tell. Nope, that's Scotty.
3rd and 8.
You know what? It's tough. You know,
From the back,
Matt will appreciate
he had my
it.
haircut.
Some of the bald heads look the same.
Sorry, Matt.
But hold on, Q. They just called you for defensive offside. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I was going to say, Bill didn't see the flag.
Yeah, Contavious Hutchinson, great get off. A little bit too soon. That's Scott Mutrin. He does radio for BC and got that nice shiny dome as well.
I like his barber. Reevy, incomplete. You know, last year, as we look forward to 2024, let's look back to 2023. Florida State had the unbeaten run through the ACC, and certainly some controversy once the CFP came out. Louisville ended up playing them in the ACC championship, and Boston College 3-5 in conference, but finished 7-6, and certainly a rebound from the 3-9 season 2 years ago in 2022.
Yeah, and they had that run where, you know, it was looking pretty good towards the middle of the season, and you know, it just kind of fell off as guys started getting tired, and they had to get to some of their depth players and weren't able to produce as well. Interception here.
We got our first interception on a tip ball, and Reevy is down also, more importantly.
Yeah.
Reevy is down. Nigel Tate got a good lick on him, and you could see Reevy walking off on his own power.
Down there, 15-yard line.
Yep,
offensive lineman may have fell on his leg as well. Brykees Brown returned it the other way.
Brykees Brown, another guy who transferred in from Georgia State. Tips and overthrows.
And a Boston kid, you may not know his brother is Bruce Brown, NBA star, won a championship with the Denver Nuggets last year. From Dorchester, Mass. So I'm sure Bill O'Brien has a soft spot for him as well. All right, our situational play now moves to red zone here. We got a 20-yard line drive start.
Ones on ones.
Castellanos is in. They'll give it to Day. And Jones takes the hit and gets to the 8-yard line for 7.
There we go. There's some push by the offensive line.
How does the OL stack up this year?
Well, they lost Christian Mahogany, which is a big loss, obviously, but they're returning a bunch of guys on the offensive line. And, it's going to shape up right now, at least as we're watching it. Jude Bowery is kind of the newcomer to this team. He played a couple years ago, got some snaps. He's going to be left tackle. You got Drew Kendall coming back in the middle. Dwayne Alec at that left guard. Then you got Ozzie Trapillo, right tackle. and the right guard, they're going to kind of see who fills in there, right? Jack Conley's there right now. Kevin Klein could be another guy in there. Logan Taylor is another big offensive lineman that can really play well at that guard position. So they have about 6 or 7 guys right now who have had experience on the offensive line. And so, the goal of Boston College, right, is to get back to where you're consistently putting guys in the NFL. And they've done that in the past, and they have the ability to do it. And it is a massive offensive line when you look at it. 6'8", 6'5", 6'7", everybody over 315 pounds.
Look at the left side of the line. That's where all the beef is, and Day Jones that time is stopped for no gain. You saw we were showing number 70, Ozzie Trapillo. Let's take a look outside Alumni Stadium. And there's Doug Flutie, and of course there was the famous Hail Mary play, and the late father of Ozzie, Steve Trapillo, holding Doug Flutie in his arms after the quintessential Boston College football play.
I know, and if Doug could have only had his hand a little bit higher, you could have seen the nameplate of Trapillo, but
one of the great moments in Boston College history, and there we'll see the legs of Castellanos. Nice jump cut inside, and they'll blow it dead inside the 5-yard line. Want to also shout out Dan Davis, who was the longtime radio voice of Boston College down in, he's in the Clearwater area right now. I got a chance to work with him for about a decade at ESPN Radio, and he called on radio the Doug Flutie Hail Mary in 1984. Brent Musburger, of course, famously had it on television as well.
Yep.
First down and goal as we continue to work inside the 5-yard line. Little play fake. Castellanos throws, and it is caught. Touchdown, tight end Jeremiah Franklin on the first TD throw by Castellanos here in the BC spring game.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that play call. Anytime you're down in the red zone, you have an athlete like Castellanos, get him outside of the pocket. A little misdirection, and it's a good ball. It's a really good, well thrown ball out in front of his big tight end. I think Day Jones, the running back, drifted a little bit deep on that, but
Jeremiah Franklin with the touchdown reception. The offense has the lead with a timeout here in Chestnut Hill. They're here in Chestnut Hill. The Eagle watching on, and let's go downstairs. Ashley Stroline is with Drew Kendall.
All right, Drew. So Coach O'Brien told us he really sees you as the leader of the O-line unit. How are you embracing being the leader of that group?
It's been great so far. I mean, obviously we had some older guys last year with Kyle and Christian now graduating, but, I'm going into my 3rd year starting, so I've really, especially as a center, tried to take on that role, and I'm super close to all the guys, so I think they see me as a good leader, so it's been good so far.
You mentioned some of the older guys leaving, especially Christian Mahogany, who we know is preparing for the NFL draft. How have you guys stepped up in his absence and really replacing everything that he brought to the O-line?
I mean, it's obviously going to be a bit something you got to work through, right? You lose 2 guards and 2 really good guards at that, 2 NFL-level guards. So it's a work in progress. We got a lot of good players, so just building that chemistry is really important.
And you are in at center. You got Tommy Castellanos behind you. What's it been like working with him?
Oh, it's been awesome. He's an incredible player, so special, makes so many plays happen, just, kind of just like out of the ordinary. Like, it's not a design play. He'll just take off and run for 30 yards, which we love as an offensive line. But yeah, no, it's been great. He's a really fun player. I love hanging out with him, love learning the offense with him, so it's been great.
All right, Drew, thanks so much for your time.
Of course. Thank you, guys.
Drew Kendall, as you pointed out, going to be the anchor at the center position on this Boston College line moving forward.
Yeah, funny, he's starting to look more and more like his dad. Pete Kendall, who's a great offensive lineman here at Boston College as well.
First-round pick, played with a number of NFL teams.
15, put on the left hash, sir. Over here.
The offense, with all the short yardage stuff, starting to get a little more points. We talked about the quarterbacks. You saw that draft package coming out of break, and you want to talk about the top 3 picks could be quarterbacks, and 6 really good players here that are going to end up. This is according to Mel Kiper Jr. here, his top 6.
Yeah, I think, the big talk in New England, right, is are the Patriots going to stick with their number 3 pick and take a quarterback? And who's it going to be? Is it going to be J.J. McCarthy, who is just absolutely shot up draft boards, where I don't think he was even considered really a first-round option maybe towards the end of last season. And then, this offseason, coaches have just loved his workouts and the way he has performed. You got Drake May, obviously, from the ACC, who had a phenomenal year 2 years ago and probably was looked at maybe the top quarterback off the board. And last year just a little bit lower with his numbers. I don't think that takes anything away. But these top 6 guys, I mean, you take your pick. It's one of those ones where, like, you try to guess right, especially the top teams. Like, hey, we need to make this choice right because it could set the legacy of our team for the next 10 years.
Well, for a team who took a Hall of Famer at 199, if the Patriots and a pick comes up, who would you take? And we know those first 3 guys are probably going to be gone.
Right, yeah, and I think Drake May could possibly be around by then. I think Drake May, to me, would be that guy that they do take. All reports coming out of the Patriots, though, is that they really like J.J. McCarthy. Just listen to the local radio stations because I live around here, and a lot of talk has been about J.J. McCarthy and how much that organization has fallen in love with him. So it's going to be interesting times. It'll be fun to watch.
It is remarkable. It was second year at Michigan, where I think Michigan might have 20 draft picks, could have upwards of 20 off that national championship team. His head coach has gone on to the Los Angeles Chargers, Coach Harbaugh. Well, I guess this is the offense's time to shine when you get your drive starts inside the 20-yard line, some of those inside the 10-yard line. But seeing some pretty good offense here. We had Castellanos and Reeve, and Grayson James has impressed, and now Jacoby Robinson and the 3s are back out on the field. Jacoby, Coach O'Brien was telling us, coming off his best 2 practices of the year to finish. Little rollout. Looking end zone, everyone's covered, and the play blown dead. Quintavious Hutchins that time, keeping him in check.
Yeah, I talked about Jacoby Robinson, and he was a 4-star recruit out of Texas, and he's a young guy. He's done a great job of learning the system, and I think one of the things that Coach O'Brien talked about was just his intelligence, right? He has, Coach O'Brien wasn't quite sure on his major, but he was like, it's one of the hard ones. Every major here at Boston College means something, but he's like, man, he is a smart
there's no
guy.
Easy majors here at Boston College.
No, he goes, he is a smart player, and I've gotten to know Jacoby pretty well over the past year as my wife and I lead the Athletes in Action here at BC. We do some Bible studies with the different players, and Jacoby is a regular attendee of that. Phenomenal young man.
How about Carter Davis here on the pass breakup? Nice read on the attempt to Nate Johnson.
Yeah, almost an interception. Probably should have come down with that. And you talk about this strike zone for the offense, but this is where you make your hay as a defense, right? You get down here for so long. Boston College defenses were kind of that bend but don't break defense. Think back with Don Brown when he was the defensive coordinator, one of the top defenses in the nation in terms of giving up points.
Luca Lombardo nailed it from 50 right before halftime. 30-yarder there, and that's going to take us to a timeout as the Boston College spring game rolls on from Chestnut Hill. Offense now has 66 on the board. While we were gone, here's 2 touchdowns for you. Day Jones, these are all 5-yard line of scrimmage, able to power his way into the end zone. And then for good measure, Thomas Castellanos, using those legs, had 13 rushing touchdowns during the regular year last year and scored one right there. 66-42. So whatever that score was last year, I think they're topping it this year. As we continue to pound away from inside the 10, another score. That time, Datrell Jones. Adding some more. I'm sorry, that was Jordan McDonald, number 25 that time. Everybody gets a touchdown. If you're just joining us, no Kai Robichaux, no Alex Broom. Both injured, not able to participate today, and Lewis Bond as well, who was their top receiver. And a little stop by the defense this time, as McDonald is denied by Riz Hala. And a reminder today and tomorrow, right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app, we'll have two of the best lacrosse matchups this weekend. And number 3, Boston College women will take on number 11 Virginia, 4 Eastern, and tomorrow number 2 Virginia men will square off against number 4 Duke at 2 Eastern time. The BC women's lacrosse team, the 2021 national champs. BC men's hockey team playing for a national championship later on tonight on ESPN2. And a touchdown here at the spring game. Matt Reagan, tight end, coming in, receiving it from Grayson James, who's had himself a very nice spring day.
Well, we've seen a lot of that roll 2 boot from these quarterbacks, and that one is kind of a little wrist flick dart. I've seen this play about 3 times down in the red zone. That's probably a go-to play for them, and good completion on the back line.
Love it. And a little shoulder bump with Reed Harris, who, like Reagan, have himself a nice day from Westboro, Mass, not too far away from here in Boston. You know, I often come up to Boston from Connecticut for Celtics games. We're getting close to the score now. Like 78, we're through 3 quarters, right, NBA?
Yeah, for real. It's like the UConn Illinois game that was at the Garden.
That's right.
Went 2. I think this might have been the final score of it. Something like this.
Congrats to the UConn Huskies. I was driving past the store's exit. I think their parade might be today. Their NCAA championship parade. And then, of course, BC men. I thought it was going to be an all Boston College affair. Boston College, Boston University, an all Boston affair. Didn't quite work out for BU. Denver and Boston College, ESPN2, 6 Eastern. The Frozen 4 will come to its conclusion. All right, so now we're starting inside the own 5-yard line, and from the end zone, an overthrow intended for Jaden McGowan that time from Castellanos.
Third down.
There is a flag down in the end zone, so we could potentially have a safety here. I didn't see that on our scoring rules. You get 2 points for a safety
yeah,
in spring games?
2. Should be worth more with this scoring. Should be worth more in general.
Yeah, safety was not listed on our chart, but there was a hold in the end zone. But we're just going through situationals right now.
Situationally, if you're defense, what are you expecting coming out like this? It's, you know, first and second down, it's like direct run, fullback or running back to the flat, and then shots. Now on third down, they got to get some yardage.
Check down over the middle. McGowan's got it and came up just short out at the 11-yard line. Just short is not a word you won't be saying with the new teams that are coming into the ACC. Take a look at some of these mileage charts. SMU is only 1,760 miles away, but when you get those California trips, Stanford and Cal, you're going north of 3,000 miles.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing, right? You know, miles are miles, but it's a 6-hour flight. You know, and I think that, and you're going across country. There's going to be a time change. Coming back is always interesting. So, you know, you only really usually get experience like that in the NFL when you're going coast to coast. Now it's going to be a part of the college football game, and it's going to be a different sort of mindset, right? And I know when I was with the Giants and we would do that cross-country trip to play the 49ers, we would stay on East Coast time. You know, so Tom Coughlin would have us kind of live like we were on East Coast time so that there was no adjustment when we went back. It'll be interesting to see how college programs do it, because they're not going to be able to take an extra day or the whole week out there like sometimes NFL teams do, because these kids got to go to class. This is their weekend job, right?
Yeah.
They still got to go to class and keep the main thing the main thing.
Is that East Coast time minus 5 minutes for Tom Coughlin?
Yes, oh yes.
Second down and 11. Pocket closing, and that's going to be an interception.
Two's backed up. Two's backed up. 2-yard line.
Bugg Jones, who got the Jay McGillis honor today, coming up with the INT for 5 big points.
Yep. Get that out of your system in the spring game.
Yes. Florida State's on deck. Backing up the offense now to about the 2-yard line. And quarterback in, handoff. Day Jones breaks another tackle. Nice little burst out across the 15-yard line. So with the teams coming in now, here's how the scheduling model has changed. You see the conference changes in the SEC, Oklahoma and Texas. The Big Ten now has, I believe, 18 teams. The Big 12 has 16 teams. And there's the scheduling model changing. And you'll notice there prevents away games to California over consecutive seasons on the 4th line. So they'll have Stanford next year, but then they don't have to do California again until 27.
Yeah, and it's hard to keep track of the different modeling after, last year there was no Atlantic or Coastal Division in the ACC for the first year. Now, okay, we have a whole new deal, but your league schedule remains 8 games, and it's just kind of limiting the travel from the East Coast to the West Coast. I mean, that's really the big deal. So a lot of the West Coast teams are going to have to do a lot more traveling on their own, but trying to figure out the best way, and I'm sure it'll be ever evolving, right?
Yes.
I'm sure it'll change again next year or maybe the year after as they try to figure out how can we really do this all-coast conference, which is not anymore the Atlantic Coast Conference. It really is all-coast conference going out to the West Coast and down near Texas.
Matt Reagan tied in with the reception out across the 40-yard line, and I think you hit on the perfect word. It is evolving and ever evolving, if we want to put a hyphen in there, and that goes for conferences, that goes for the college football playoff as well. As we go from 4 teams to 12 teams, and we might have 14 before long as well.
I think it's an exciting time of college football, right? You're trying to figure out how to best display what we have on the field, right? And I think that's the biggest thing. At the end of the day, you've got this game of football, which is such an amazing form of entertainment for this nation. They love it, right? And how can you be competitive? How can you play within the confines of the NCAA and the conference schemes and bowl games and championships? And at the end of the day, right, the ball is snapped. It's about the 22 guys on the field playing football, and that product has improved and improved year after year. And so college football is just nothing short of a thrill every single year.
Grayson James, who's had himself a nice spring debut, another completion. That's Luke McLaughlin that time coming to the near side, and we'll have a timeout. Ashley Stroline is on the field. So you have some more special guests coming up as soon as we return to Boston College.
Welcome back to Chestnut Hill, where we are at Boston College's spring game. And standing by with me now, 2 former Boston College players. I've got John Johnson and Isaac Yadam. You guys made the trip here to Boston today to support these guys. What made you want to come back and see what's going on for this spring game?
Long trip. I came from L.A., but it's worth it. We got a new coach, Bill O'Brien. Everyone loves him. So I had to see what the hype is about. I know his resume. I know he's a, well-respected, puts good stuff on tape, puts his guys in the NFL. So I just wanted to come back and see what's going on and support the young guys.
Absolutely. All right, Isaac, what about you? What made you want to come back and be a part of this spring game?
For sure. Same thing, with Coach OB coming back into town, being a Massachusetts guy, I'm a Massachusetts guy. I think it's so important to come back and show face, show some of these recruits, show some of these players what Boston College means to us, what we as players got a chance to do here. So we're excited that coming about the 24 season, see what they're going to do. Tommy Touchdown's going to light it up, so we're excited.
There we go, ready for Tommy Touchdowns. And we were talking in the break, both of you are recipients of the Jay McGillis Scholarship Award. So what did it mean to be here today when that award was presented again, and then also to receive it yourself?
Oh, yeah, it's huge. Wearing that 31, it means a lot. Every guy that wore it, means something to this program. You remember those names, and just like we remember his name. So, like you said, we both got it. It's an honor. I just see
Bugg Jones.
Sounds like a stud. I'll be tuned in. Hopefully that game he goes off. But, yeah, it means a lot to us. It means a lot to the program. So it's just a tremendous honor.
100%. It's a magic number. Guys like John Johnson, Justin Simmons, everybody who's worn that number. It's a magic number. When you wear that number later this season, you just feel special. You feel it. You feel the spirit when you wear that jersey. And it's going to be great things to come from.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, before we wrap up, I want to ask, what are some takeaways you've seen from the guys today?
Oh, Tommy Touchdowns. Got wheels. they're throwing the ball downfield. That's what I wanted to see. You know, BC, we've been a running team, power running. We're pushing the ball down the field, lighting it up, giving the fans something to watch. So that's what I'm excited about.
You know, I'm focused on my DBs. Look out for the name. Ryan Turner, my young guy, Ryan Turner over there. I train with him. I work him out. So you see his technique, how he's doing over there. Got 3 big pass breakups on the day. He looks great out there. He's going to keep playing good. He's going to be a big part of their defense next year.
All right, guys, I appreciate your time. I'm going to get some hot chocolate like Isaac has here. It's a little chilly down here on the field, Mark.
Yeah, so the sun has left us. It's getting chilly. How about this, Mark Herzlich? It's a 29-point game. Doesn't matter. Touchdown wins it here.
Yeah, well,
touchdown wins it. We have 50 seconds to go.
That's how you play street ball, right? It doesn't matter until the end. And then you got to score when when all the points are on the line.
We already had a big play to Jerron Bradley, and another shot at Bradley makes the catch at the 20-yard line.
You know what's funny, right? Like,
second down.
You see Castellanos, right? Okay, now the game's on the line.
Yes. There's a clock.
Oh, there's a little competition. Oh, there's the clock, right? I mean, you know, Tommy Touchdown is turning it up right here.
Bradley got a little shirt tug from the back. Carter Davis in coverage. Did not see a flag come
little
out.
T-Rex arms, too. He could have gone up there, try to grab it.
You know, you notice this at the end of practice, too, the practices that we went to this week. It got intense in the last few minutes.
Well, that's how it should be,
yes.
Right? You get into team periods, the end of practice, you get something on the line. You get those competitive juices flowing. We go back to something that Ike was talking about earlier. Just, I think it's cool that he was training, with Ryan Turner, right? How cool is that?
That's very cool.
In the off season, you get guys training together, former players, current players.
Ryan Turner played at Ohio State the last 2 years, had a nice big hit today. Here's a pass right into the arms of Jaden Skeet. Tommy Touchdowns with the winner.
Yeah, that was a nice ball. It was a really good inside fade route. Working against Jalen Williams. That's what we're talking about. That's what John Johnson's looking to see.
I thought Bill was going to say, all right, I lied to you. Next touchdown wins. But touchdown wins, just more situationals with the twos coming out in these final moments as we wrap up the BC spring game. But nice job by the offense and Thomas Castellanos from the 50-yard line to get the offense up to 88.
And we talked about Jerron Bradley before a lot, but Jaden Skeet is a true sophomore. He's out of Hyde Park, Massachusetts, and he's a guy to watch out for, right? You saw him a little bit towards the end of last year, but number 6 is going to have a major role on this offense this year at that wide receiver position. You saw that concentration and the good hands on that touchdown. But they have built this roster of some talent on the outside, and they are going to be more skilled at the wide receiver spot and the running back spot than they have been in a few years.
Jaden Skeet out of Memorial Hyde Park, not too far, right here in Boston. Teammate of Max Tucker, won a couple of state titles. Nice catch right off the shoulder. Jordan McDonald. Inbounds, clock running, all situational here. That's what Bill O'Brien wants to see. From his backup quarterback, Grayson James, who's had a nice debut for BC. Another completion. Luke McLaughlin tried to turn that corner, goes out of bounds at the 22-yard line.
No timeout. 32 seconds, 1st and 10.
It's got to be nice and tense for the players as well, because when's the next time you're going to feel something like this? You're going to get to summer workouts, and really not until Florida State, right? In about 4.5 months.
Yeah, you want to try to build the competition, obviously, through the summer, through workouts, but not with your helmets on, not with your shoulder pads on. It's a different sort of feel out here right now.
Well, we saw the ones get a touchdown to close things. What about the backups? And they're going to call that a sack. Edwin Kolenge that time got a little bit of a hand on James. 20 seconds to go for the twos.
Kolenge, a Montreal native, gets in the pass rush packages at times for this team.
Second down play, and good get off that time. A quick whistle blown. Defense pressure. Quintavious Hutchins that time.
20-yard line. No timeouts. 30 seconds to go in the game.
Like how Bill O'Brien's running this. I mean, you've seen way more spring games than I've seen, but he wants to get every situation here in these last few minutes.
No timeouts. Touchdown wins.
Well, and who's that for? That's not for his players. That's for the fans. I mean, he understands what we're doing here.
Hold up, Tommy, hold up. No timeouts. Hey, Kamish, give me somebody for Rooks. Give me Quad.
Talking to
Owen. Give me Owen. Owen's good.
Talking to Jeff Commission, the defensive line coach, that he was actually defensive line coach when I played here. They brought him back, and they took out George Rooks, the Jersey City native, transfer in from Michigan last year. Brought in Owen Stoudemire.
Coach Kamish spent the last 3 years with the linebackers at Cornell. So Castellanos back in here to close out spring day. Rolls left, out of bounds, looking for Trayshawn Ward out of the backfield.
So Darius McDonald, a transfer in from Illinois. Got the pressure on him.
There's a lot to work with this year for Bill O'Brien. Look, he came in quote-unquote late, right, in early February. And also, we should point out, his number one in black there wasn't even at the spring game last year. He didn't come in till after the spring game when the portal reopened. There's the portal reopening coming up shortly. And so, who knows? There could be a BC star come September that we don't even know about right now.
Sounds like a club, right?
Yes, it does.
It's the reopening of the portal.
Weekdays only.
That's what we need to do. We need to start our own nightclub and call it the portal, the transfer portal.
Well, you know, we saw in college basketball, and we've seen it in college football. It's like 4 digits worth of players in the portal. There still are college football players who entered the portal after their seasons ended in November and December last year, still looking for a landing spot.
And that's the unfortunate side of the portal that you don't see as often. Is, you know, people kind of give up their scholarships and they're looking for a scholarship somewhere else, and sometimes they don't find a spot.
Castellanos, official might have gotten the way that way as Jaden McGowan was open out of the backfield.
Well,
even the officials have spring games to work on their mechanics.
Well, goes to one of my pet peeves of college football. Mark, you haven't called a game with me before, but being a middle linebacker,
that ump got in your way.
That umpire got to get out of my face. Get away from me. They moved them back behind the quarterback in the pros, but I can't tell you how many times there's a pass over the middle that gets.
Is there like a height restriction for umpires? Like, did you ever have like a 6'4" umpire?
Yeah. Look at them.
They're screening me, bro.
And honestly, they're usually the toughest guys, right? Because they got to be in there with the backers.
Castellanos going to use the legs. They didn't blow the whistle, and he's got an open skeet for the touchdown. We've crossed 90.
Neto Akpala pleading his case. Like, what do you mean?
It's like he blew the whistle for every play.
Yeah.
Except for that one.
Ready, watch Neto, number 4. He's like, got him.
No, I didn't.
You know what? Play through the whistle.
There you go.
That's what we always talk about.
Jaden Skeet with his second touchdown reception. Both coming from Mr. Tommy Touchdowns himself. I think Bill O'Brien's enjoying this because he's going, this is like soccer. We're in extra time.
It's got to be a blur to him, right? I mean, you're out there, you got the mic, you're conducting practice. He's going to get home after this. He's probably going to talk to his team, trying to sprint over, catch his son's the rest of his baseball game. And then he...
And how cool is that? I mean, we've talked about that. For him to be home, to be close to family.
Yeah.
And his 2 sons, and one playing baseball at Colby later today, I think he told us. Wife is an alum of Boston College. And there will be a standard for Bill O'Brien, and we'll see that in year 1. Over the middle, McDonald that time, or that's Jones. Day Jones that time at the 11-yard line.
Yeah, the 25 and 26. BC's got some great numbers on their jerseys for us broadcasters.
Yes.
They're big, they're square, but that's 6 and 5. They kind of look alike.
I've struggled all day on that one. Incomplete in the right corner of the end zone. That time intended for Luke McLaughlin. What situation are we going to get here?
Been impressed with Luke McLaughlin, too.
6 seconds on the clock. 4th down.
Luke McLaughlin has been involved, too.
Yeah.
You've called his name a bunch, but we haven't talked much about him. But he's a guy from that slot position, very productive in this spring game. You see a hobbled up Bryce Brown, who made a play earlier on interception.
McLaughlin with 6 receptions here in the spring game. 6 seconds on the clock. Grayson James at QB over the middle, intercepted, and the defense coming up with 5 points as Riz Hala with the pick. Might be the only negative aspect of Grayson's day.
There we go. We got conditioning, but these linebackers have been impressive today. Couple interceptions. You've had Bam Crouch get in the backfield for TFL. We saw Cam Arnold on some run stops, and Riz Hala getting the pick, and there Grayson James, got to go higher.
I think it's a great way to end the game. You had the touchdown we thought might end it, but the defense comes up with the game sealer. We'll wrap it up from BC coming up in just a moment. The offense comes up with the win in the spring game, 96-62 over the defense, and maybe some more offense in the UFL as well. The United Football League games continue all weekend long. All the action comes your way starting tonight, 7 Eastern on Fox, when the Memphis Showboats take on the Birmingham Stallions. Tomorrow, doubleheader on ABC, Houston and Michigan kicking off at noon Eastern, followed by St. Louis and San Antonio at 3. The ABC games can also be seen on ESPN+, and don't miss the excitement that is the UFL. Why don't we start our recap, Mark Herzlich, with Thomas Castellanos.
Yeah, started off slow for the offense in the first half, but then they got in situational play, and you saw Castellanos do it with his arm, with his legs, and getting him outside the pocket, right? That's always got to be a premium when you're down in the red zone. A really good job, a nice pass here to Skeet. And then this one, I don't know if it would have counted, but we got it in anyways. Another one to Skeet in the back of the end zone.
But we heard from Bill O'Brien at the start of our broadcast. What did he think today? Coaches with Ashley Stroline.
All right, Coach O'Brien, practice 15 of 15 for the spring, officially in the books. What were your takeaways, both positive and negative, from today's practice?
I definitely think we improved as a football team. The guys worked hard, a lot of great effort. I thought we played pretty disciplined today. I think the defense probably had the best of today, but overall it's been a really good spring, and looking forward to good summer and then training camp.
You just broke down practice, had everyone out there at center field. What was your message to the team?
You know, look, we've gotten a lot accomplished. These guys have really committed to us as a new staff here, and we're proud of that. You know, we feel a connection with these players, and, you know, now it's important to make sure we do a great job in our final exams. I would say make sure we root for the hockey team tonight. Hockey's got a big national championship game tonight, and we're all behind them, Coach Brown and his crew, so we're looking forward to watching that, and then we'll meet with these guys next week and head off into the summer.
I know fan support is big to you. You had a great turnout for today's spring game. What does that mean to you to see the guys get behind you and gals that were out here and just support what you're doing right now?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, there's nothing like playing in front of a great crowd. We have to, you know, make sure that we do our part by putting a good product on the field, but we need the fans. You know, the fans, these guys play hard for these fans, and look forward to playing in front of the students, you know, especially the students and the crowd. And so hopefully we get good support in the fall. I believe we will.
And finally, some of the former players made the trip out to support you in your new era, and John Johnson and Ike Adam and those guys. So what did it mean? John was like, yeah, I made the trip from the West Coast to be here today. So to know that they care that much about what you're doing here, what does that mean?
Yeah, we've tried hard to connect with the alums. We'll continue to do that. There's such a great history of football here, players, coaches, great history of winning, whether it was Coach Bicknell or Coach Coughlin or Coach Tom O'Brien. I mean, just a great history. And we really want these guys to be back and involved with the program. There's such a powerful network of football alums associated with this program, so we want them to be involved, and we're so happy and thankful for them being here today.
All right, Coach, we appreciate the time. Best of luck this season.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Great job all day long. Appreciate it. Terrific job from down there. I thought of all the things he said. Disciplined reached with me, because I remember in practice he was pointing out he knew the exact number of penalties they had in different games last year. We only saw the flag come out a couple times today.
Yeah, that'll be the difference between wins and losses, and especially Boston College like 2 years ago, they're plagued by penalties. Last year in their losses early in the season, plagued by penalties. So disciplined team is good. And now what's next for these players, right? First of all, they got a spring game party tonight. I got to talk to some of my old players. The biggest party of the year was sometimes after the spring game, so they got that. And then Marathon Monday, they got on Monday, and then they get back into the work in the finals and back to school in the summer program.
T-minus 4 hours till the BC hockey team plays for that national championship tonight. But an outstanding day today at the spring game. Thomas Castellanos with a couple of TDs late after the slow start for Mark Herzlich. Ashley Strohline, our entire crew. I'm Mark Kestisher. That'll do it for us from Alumni Stadium here on the campus of Boston College, but still many more spring games to come, including the Pitt spring football game from Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh. Doug Sherman, Rod Gilmore will have our call. That'll do it.